Carl Webster is set to take a dangerous turn next week as he targets his brother Kevin Webster in a shocking act of revenge that could have deadly consequences. Already widely disliked by many residents of Weatherfield, Carl manages to worsen his reputation even further, placing himself firmly in the firing line as tensions continue to rise. Growing increasingly frustrated with the hostility directed toward him, Carl decides to retaliate against those he believes have wronged him, a decision that could ultimately backfire in devastating fashion. As one of the so-called Fatal Five characters at risk in the show's upcoming murder storyline, Carl's reckless behavior may significantly increase his chances of meeting a tragic end. According to insiders, being rejected by his own mother, Debbie Webster, proves to be the final blow for Carl, leaving him feeling completely isolated and with nothing left to lose. Debbie, overwhelmed by everything Carl has done, confides in both Kevin and Ronnie Bailey that she has given her son money and told him to leave Weatherfield for good, believing it is the only way to stop the damage he continues to cause. Although the decision is emotionally difficult for her, Debbie recognizes that Carl's actions have brought too much pain and destruction to those around him. Meanwhile, the rest of the community shows little sympathy, with many residents eager to see Carl gone for good rather than wishing him a fond farewell. Feeling wronged and unable to fully accept responsibility for his actions, Carl lashes out at several people during what could be his final hours on the cobbles. His former lover, Abby Webster, makes it clear that she deeply regrets sacrificing her marriage for him, further fueling his anger. He also becomes involved in a tense confrontation with Theo Silverton, as well as a bitter clash with Tyrone Dobbs, whom he previously left seriously injured in a hit-and-run incident. However, it is a heated argument with Kevin that ultimately pushes Carl over the edge, driving him toward a shocking and dangerous act of revenge. After receiving an unpleasant message from his brother, Carl secretly enters the garage with a plan to get even, determined to teach Kevin a lesson. In a reckless and sinister move, he tampers with the brakes on Kevin's car, setting the stage for a potentially catastrophic chain of events. This act of sabotage could have far-reaching consequences, not only putting Kevin's life at risk, but also threatening others, raising the possibility that more than one person could be harmed. As the storyline builds toward its explosive climax, the question remains whether Carl's actions will ultimately lead to his own downfall, and whether his quest for revenge will cost someone their life. Coronation Street spoilers suggest that Todd Grimshaw will once again find himself in serious danger as Theo Silverton makes a threatening return, setting the stage for a tense and high-stakes confrontation. As the dramatic storyline builds toward its climax, Theo, who is one of the 5 potential victims in the upcoming murder mystery, may finally see his reign of terror come to an end. Just when Todd begins to believe he has successfully escaped the nightmare of his abusive relationship, events take a frightening turn as he is forced into another face-to-face encounter with Theo, which could prove to be their final showdown. According to insiders, Theo was never likely to let Todd walk away so easily, especially after everything that has unfolded between them. Todd, hoping to leave the trauma behind him, prepares to travel to Thailand in search of safety and a fresh start, believing the worst may finally be over. However, Theo has one last move planned, and his actions quickly shatter Todd's hopes of a clean escape. While the rest of Weatherfield gathers to celebrate the wedding of Carla Connor and Lisa Swain, Todd quietly begins packing his belongings in preparation for his departure. He decides to return to the flat he once shared with Theo to collect the remaining items he left behind, cautiously waiting for the opportunity to enter without being seen. Trying to avoid any contact with Theo, Todd nervously steps inside and quickly gathers his things, hoping to leave without incident. But his worst fears are realized when Theo suddenly appears, trapping him inside the flat and leaving him face to face with his abuser once again. As Theo's anger escalates, Todd becomes increasingly terrified, unable to see a safe way out of the situation as the tension intensifies. Fortunately, George Shuttleworth arrives just in time, having followed Todd out of concern, and intervenes to help him overpower Theo before the two of them manage to escape. After breaking free, Todd and George immediately head to the police, knowing that Theo's actions, approaching and threatening Todd, constitute a serious violation of his bail conditions. Kit Green is then tasked with tracking Theo down and bringing him in, but when he arrives at the flat, Theo has already disappeared, leaving his whereabouts unknown. Shaken by the ordeal, Todd decides to leave Weatherfield as quickly as possible and heads toward the airport in a taxi, eager to put distance between himself and the danger. However, as he begins his journey, he suddenly realizes that he has forgotten his phone and asks the driver to stop so he can retrieve it. Returning to the street in a rush, Todd heads back toward the house, only to be confronted by a chilling sight that stops him in his tracks. Standing before him is Theo, holding the missing phone, making it clear that Todd is not yet free from his grasp. Now cornered for a second time in just a matter of hours, Todd is once again forced into a dangerous situation, raising the question of what desperate measures he may have to take in order to finally escape Theo's control. Coronation Street has intensified speculation among viewers as a recent ITVX episode appears to hint that Summer Spellman could take a dark and potentially deadly turn in the upcoming storyline. Fans are now paying close attention to Summer's behavior as the soap builds toward a major murder mystery in which one of the show's most notorious villains is set to lose their life. Among those in danger is Theo Silverton, and if he does meet a grim fate, there is no shortage of characters who may have a motive to harm him. In a tense scene from the latest episode, Theo confronts Summer during a disturbing visit to the corner shop, where his behavior quickly becomes threatening. In an effort to intimidate her, Theo even locks the door, ensuring that they are alone together and increasing the sense of danger. Frustrated by the fact that Todd Grimshaw's friends and family have been working against him, Theo attempts to provoke Summer, hoping to unsettle her. However, rather than backing down, Summer stands her ground and makes it clear that she is not someone to be underestimated. Noticing her confidence, Theo remarks that he has never seen this side of her before, suggesting that she may be capable of more than he initially believed. In response, Summer delivers a chilling warning, hinting that he has no idea what she might be capable of if pushed too far. Theo responds with a remark about the quiet ones, subtly reinforcing the idea that Summer could be hiding a more dangerous side beneath her calm exterior.